All right, so quick recap for today. We had some key levels hit on certain assets like the DXY here. You can see that 104 touched and we closed near low of day. But also yields down. We'll get to that. Gold and silver, they bounced off technical support. We will get to that too. So really key takeaways are dollar and yields down, metals up, but the miners were red, and that's because I reckon the markets were down. It was all softly lower. But one thing to keep an eye on is maybe the banks. That's really the summary. But let's take a bit more of a detailed look. You know what? DXY, I'm not going to spend too long. Look at this. We have the ascending. I said if we lose it, and we were touching it a few too many times, I wasn't sure which way it'd go. I think I actually thought it might go up. But here, clearly, we went down. We closed just perfectly on the below of this area here, 104. If we close below it, to be honest, that's pretty bearish already in itself. But it's kind of, well, I don't care which way it goes, honestly, because I feel like gold and silver is it's kind of separated itself from the dollar mostly. But if we do lose this 104, we're pretty much there. Honestly, next level is like 102.5, I reckon. And by the time we get there, remember the time element, right? That might take some time. Actually, things happen quite quickly. Maybe we bounce, whatever. But we're gonna hit most likely the lower part of this ascending, and that's ascending is the weakest chart. So you probably get a bounce, but imagine you start to flush. You got to think about that. That's going to 100, and then if you go to 100, it's the bounce and then flush. Wow, imagine having a 99 handle on DXY. We're far from that. That'll take weeks probably, but this strength that we had up here, not looking so strong right now. That's a very bearish close. So that's DXY. That was down. Let's look at yields. Usually working hand in hand, and that is the case. Look at the amount of times we're touching this ascending. Eventually, we're going to break it. I mean, this is really decision time is imminent, but it looks like DXY has made its decision. So maybe yields, I actually thought yields would go higher. I thought it would actually reverse and go up. Um, 10-year, they all follow each other. Look at that, all got identical charts. It's incredible. Hasn't been the case for some time, but I mean, look, not all of them have lost their support. We've also got this horizontal support on the 2-year, pretty important. 10-year, they still got to take out their last low, right? That's the real confirmation. So we're looking weaker, but we still haven't, in this case, it's got to really take out, something like this, especially this low here. So looking weaker. Now, what did that translate to for gold and silver? Well, gold and silver, and I think the 1 hour chart is really good for this. Look at this descending, bam, taking it out pretty much. And here, I thought, let's go back to daily. I thought we would flush this and go to 2300, then bounce, but we went to 2315, whatever, at such high numbers, $15 is not much difference, but it's very strong there. That's a really nice reversal. That's like a pretty much a bullish engulfing. It would have been better to take out this, but that's pretty strong stuff. And again, that 1 hour chart really sort of speaks volumes. The descending, taking it out. What you really want is 2360. You can see that, right? We've hit it many times. Also recently there, if you close above 2360, bam, up you go to 24, to be honest. So gold looks good. Silver, I think gold outperformed silver, but silver had a very strong bounce. I also like to look at SLV and GLD actually, because the Western ETFs, I know they, the West sells the paper and the East buys the physical, but sometimes quite useful. Let's look at GLD, by the way, just real quick. Yeah, okay, that looks good. It's more SLV. I'll get to that in a second here. But let's look at silver before I look at SLV, because silver is the whole world. Look at this. This is exactly what I thought, to be honest. This is what I drew before. I thought, all right, we could lose this little $30. 30 is support, that's what I said, but we could go down to 29.8 because of obvious support. Real support was there. Look at that. Had these lines for ages. 29.8, hit. So okay, I don't like this fat chart, but you know what I mean. That's obviously why I had 29.8. I mentioned in the last video. So we flushed 30, went to 29.8 and bounced and closed our high of day in this perfect time. It's exactly what I thought might happen. I mean, I thought maybe it comes back down to 29. In this case, a real 29, not 28.8 or something. 29 was the real next support, and I thought that would have a strong hammer, but the hammer's here. So it's like best case scenario. For silver bulls, it's just very nice reversal stuff. Um, so it looks good, just need to, we do have some way to climb before we get back to test these highs, 4% really. And SLV, like I was saying, look at this. Yes, we have a little bit of a gap here. It's the same thing. In fact, it would have gone all the way down to here, 27.3, and then bounced, but I think it may have done the reversal before SLV opened. I don't know. But either way, sometimes it's useful to look at SLV actually to get an extra confirmation on technical support. So all in all, gold and silver, I'm not gonna say very strong, but yeah, very strong bounce. It's still, and it makes sense, with dollar and yields going down. What happens if they bounce? Do we go back down again? I don't know. Let's see. But constructive on the metals. Let's look at the miners. They were red, like I said. It would have been better if they were green. So it's pretty bit weak. Let's be honest. When you got gold and silver up, like gold up 1%, miners down. That's not very good, is it? Just because the market's down. How much of the market's down, by the way? Not that much. They were down like 0.5%. No, it's not like they're down 3%, and then you think, okay, you're excused. They were down less than the miners. So miners, bit of weakness still. I trimmed Coeur d'Arlène by 10%. Might get to that later, but this is still not, the trend is still up. And honestly, if gold and silver rally, this could just immediately find itself back at the old highs and making new highs. So it's like Nvidia, is it ready to short? Is it ready to short? Bam, shorts get stopped out. It's climbing a wall of worry. I think that's the first time I've really said that phrase, but that's what it looks like. So, ascending is still there and still not bearish, but definitely underperformed. SILJ, same thing. SILJ down more than GDXJ. Silver again did not outperform gold on percentage basis either. So I guess that makes sense. And GDX, same thing. Actually, that did quite well. That was a green day. That was actually the better one. So seniors outperformed here, a bit of a defensive move. Still within the ascending, right? Intraday, we lost it, even though I might be off. This is not the most accurate chart, let's be honest, but still nice close. So not down and out, right? Underperformed, but the trend is intact. The trend is up still. It's just a bit of weakness now. First time I think I can sense a weakness in some time, which is probably why I trimmed Coeur d'Arlène. That's it. I'll just quickly look at the miners. Real quick run through. Newmont looks exactly like the GDX and GDXJ that I just covered. Barrick Gold, by the way, a little outperformance day, right? Up 2%. I don't even think there's any news. Maybe there was some group that did a rating, some buy rating. I don't know. I had no idea. It's just outperformed good because it was looking a bit average, weakish as usual. It's really underperformed its peers, but this makes it look like the next move up is to $18, and then it looks like it's 19.20. So this could look really bullish if as long as we have momentum following up. Agnico Eagle, something that I fear I've held on for too long. That's good. It's gone up again. I feel like I'm going to trim that one real soon. It's just gone up so much. And but anyway, really good compared to the others. Pan America, bit weak. I guess that's because of silver and SILJ closing the gap again, but lower closing before. Got lots of support here and not too far away, so I don't expect this to go down too much. SSRM, weak, real weak. Look at this. Look at that. Down 3.5%, close lower than all the other closes in a long time. Next stop is 490, 495, 490. Below 5, we get to 5. Might have a bounce at 5, but not looking good, and it has not really rallied that much from its lows. I mean, I know it's not got the same story as all the other miners. This one has a bit of a particular case where it's, a land slide in its mine, just destroyed its mine in Turkey, but still not the most impressive rally. And I had too much in it, which is why I trimmed it at 525-ish on average. And I thought I'd live to regret that, but so far it looks okay. This could, if we have more of a move down, for whatever reason in the miners, market crash, bank crash because of rates going up, something I think is possible. This could easily go back into the fours, and then I'm going to be happy I trimmed. But upset that I didn't trim all of it, of course, the usual stuff. But this one's quite hard for me to call where the next level lower is after 490, maybe And I just feel like 450 maybe, but give it some time to curl. We don't need to guess the knife drop, and it might not ever happen. Wheaton, you can see that lost the ascending. Now finding a bit of support, you could say around 54, mid 54s. If we go lower, then down we go here. This is clearer support 51. That's quite a ways away. But you can see that the trend has been broken here. This is what I fear might happen in the GDX, just sort of loses support. Even if gold and silver go up, you know, the miners just independently need a breather. Let's see. I hope not. Actually, I wish the trend continues up. The rally continues higher. Metalla down 1%. I guess it's just average with today's price action. Really want that close above 350. Otherwise, downside is 290 pretty much. The silver stocks, yeah, it's that prior low from last week, still kind of holding $7. You close below 7. Bam, 660. Yes, I did this on Sunday. I don't disagree. Is the trend broken? Is this really a loss of support, or is it just, you know, sometimes it happens and it just drifts sideways on its next support, which in this case is 7, and then goes back up. One thing I may have to do, if we start looking bullish, all the charts can have their version of this. This is my favorite to break out of the descending. They all have that to some degree. Barrett Gold, for example, just randomly, something like that. I don't like to pollute my charts, but that is something to consider, you know. Next move up, if you close above 1780, it's 18, 19, 20, etc. So I'm not going to do it to all of them. It's just something I have at the back of my mind. Right, that was First Majestic. Fortuna, look at that holding. Look at that, so strong up here. 612 is support. Just looks like it wants to keep going up. I was watching it actually. It was one of the charts I had up all day. Just strong, outperforming like most of the others. Really strong. Just crazy stuff. There's so much support on the way down. Really strong. Next one, Coeur d'Alene, the one I trimmed. I trimmed it kind of in the low of day, actually. Not very proud of that one. 564. I trimmed it. Not great, but yeah, whatever. It wasn't really a dramatic sell. I just thought, why not here? Just trim it. You know, this one could end up just sort of going sideways. Yeah, probably end up in the 550s at one point. And then one good day and you're back above 570, 580. As usual, I'll regret it. But this is more risk management stuff. I just want to make sure it doesn't get too heavy, the bag in CDE. Because it just ends up being worth so much when it rises. This one, it makes so much money. It's my number one unrealized P&L, although I did realize a little bit today. Right, next is EXK, also holding up very well, like Fortuna. The first level is holding 388. You can see that. I forgot to take away this. But yeah, there you go. You know, one good day and it's probably closing at new high of day, 420, close above 420. It just keeps running. It's crazy. Next support, next resistance, 450. I mean, this one's not worth as much as CD or Fortuna. If it was, I would trim it. Fortuna, I might have to trim. So the silver stocks are still doing really well, especially these medium, what I call medium ones. Mag Silver, bought this one quite recently. I forgot where. I think it's pretty much where it is now, actually. I think we are at a support, 1330-ish. You know, if we lose it, we have this support here, this ascending. Again, if we lose it, yes, I agree with all of this. It just might happen sooner than I think. Otherwise, bam, up we go. You can imagine this one. I could probably do it on the 1 hour chart or even 15-minute, the descending. Actually, no, it doesn't really. I don't need to. So, you know, some of these are coiled to just make new highs. It really is a wall of worry. Next, we have, God, I have to go by memory of, I know ARMN. God, I'm doing the whole list. Aris Mining, pretty good, actually, given that it was a red day. Is this now really support? Resistance is now support so quickly. I had bad news and it's just made a new high. Really impressive. I trimmed a little bit on the bounce and I'm happy it was only a little bit because it looks like it wants to get to 480. Its ultimate next real resistance point. I am gold. That didn't have a good day. This one here, it looks like it wants to go like a magnet to 350. Closed at low of day, closed below the last time we visited here, closed below that level, actually 385. Looks like next stop, not in one go, is 350, maybe even just below 350. So and I actually bought this dip here. I didn't sell this. I wanted to sell gap fill, but this one I like this stock. You know, I bought it. I got $3 average. If it gets to 350, I don't particularly care too much. This was dilution. I can understand why they don't like that, but I think long term this is going to do well. But I'm not going to lie, that looks like it wants to get to 350, regardless of what happens from the metals and the miners. B2 Gold, my latest edition. I chased that one. I was going to say yesterday, but with Monday today, aren't we? Friday, I think it was Friday or Thursday, 283. Basically, I'm on average, pretty much just a little bit above average, full position. I think that this one, the opposite to IAG, I think it will just rip regardless of what happens. I think if the miners flush, then it'll go down. But otherwise, if there's not much happening, like sideways 1 or 2%, it'll kind of drift to this area descending and just break out. And then let's just take out the descending. Let's call it 290, run to 3. And then I don't think we care about this one actually. Once you close above 3, that's just green light for a run to 340. Zoom out and you can see what potential lies ahead. Equinox, this one I like. I just like this sort of massive move up, drop. I think it had bad news, but didn't really go down. It just gets bought up straight away. And now it's sort of bull flagging, descending slowly. And I just feel it's going to have like one pump and then bam, as soon as you're above 590, which is an interesting resistance, 590 is quite rare. But as soon as you close above 590, bam, 650, straight away 10% move. This one I really reckon, I mean, if you have a drop, you go back down to 516, but this one has strength in it. This stock wants to go up. I can see it. Can't even explain it. Next one, SPSW. Yeah, I need to get rid of this graffiti now and then, but yeah, that's what I want in yellow. That's not the best candle though, is it? What happened to palladium and platinum? I thought one of them was green. Palladium was up 1%, platinum down 2.5%. I think ultimately this does happen and move up, but this one is very high risk. So any bad news, especially in the underlying commodities, and it mines quite a few different ones, could drop. This is more of a lot, not a lottery ticket. I'm not counting on this one, but yeah, you know, I put, I don't know, 3 or 4K in it, and I just say whatever happens, happens. But you can see it's capable of doing huge moves. All right, that's it. I didn't want it to be a long video, although I've covered everything. So let me know what you think. Have a good evening.